Hello, my name is Maldonado. This is my week 4 presentation. I hope everyone is doing well. And my question is, why or why not is a superstar enterprise system executive enough to lead an initiative to overcome many of the other challenges discussed in this week's materials? I hope you guys find my presentation helpful and insightful. Thank you. I'd like to just briefly bring up some key terms. A lot of these terms were mentioned in the articles throughout the case studies in the articles. And I know some of these words have different definitions to several people, like enterprise systems. But what I'd like to really focus on is top management support, vision sharing, the long conversation. These were a few things that were mentioned in the articles that pointed towards team leadership versus individual types of leaders. This portion of the presentation, I'll be going over leadership. I think a lot of the articles, and including the slides, discussed a lot of this. The one thing that caught my attention was top management support. There was a couple of case studies in Canada and some universities that had discussed this process and the success and failures of that process. But ultimately, what I got from it was that it was recommended. So I think managers working in a team can better assess and implement enterprise systems, create vision sharing amongst their employees, pick training programs that can really help them learn their system, deal with personnel, consultants, vendors, assess the employee's skill set, as well as budgeting, looking for hidden costs, ripple effects, cost pressures, and dealing with upgrades and creating environments where testing can be done through for the employees and or the customers. And that's a lot of things to take into account in an enterprise system for one individual to really master. And I think that's why the success was handled better and came about quicker due to top management support or managers, executives, or whomever working in groups. I think they also need to look at challenges, customers, employees, personnel, status quos, negative, positive consequences. The challenges, I know there were 10 that were mentioned in the slides from this week and last week that were often encountered, as well as possible solutions. And I think working in a group or a team would better handle and be able to see these problems coming their way. So definitely making the argument for working in a group. So I'm going to bring up 2 more areas of interest that I gathered from the articles that were crucial to success on top of the leadership, and training was one of them. I know the approach would be affected differently versus centralized and decentralized, and training is very important to your employees for several reasons, but I think the bigger aspect of it is how the management goes about implementing that training and what type of training it gives them. I know some of the more common complaints that employees were passing along to their managers was that there was not enough training and that they had fear of their new systems. So definitely something that needs to be also considered and taken into account. And I feel that a better training program would be implemented by a group of people looking over their areas and their specialties and saying that these are the things that we need to focus on. Another important area that managers had to look at was teamwork. and utilizing that their previous employees that they had on their legacy system wasn't just entirely scrapped, but they actually made an argument saying that it was more effective to keep their old employees intact and move them on into the new system. Adding additional personnel and picking skill sets and building teams is also another important aspect. And I believe that it was making an argument in the articles that this is something that is done better with a group of people picking those people, as well as them creating vision sharing. Now, vision sharing is another thing, like top management support that helped create and bring their new vision into reality through their team and employees. So, what do I think about all this? Well, from the articles, I gathered that, especially the long conversation and exploring the impact of top management support, that group efforts when it comes to leadership and leading the way in enterprise system implementation is more important than an individual superstar attempting to lead the way. There are a lot of factors that come into play: work, time, to gain success within implementing an enterprise system, as well as several problems that are common and reoccurring and require a lot of effort and time to correct and implement solutions to those problems. So my answer is absolutely not. I do not believe that a superstar can lead an enterprise system implementation, but a team working together, leading the way as managers can.